All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Henry Schein Dental Academy webinar series. My name is Adam, Marketing Specialist, and I'll be your moderator. We are excited to welcome Dr. Bobbi Stanley as our speaker tonight as she discusses the importance of practice branding. Dr. Bobbi is the owner of Stanley Dentistry and is also a dentist, educator, and owner of the Stanley Institute. Before we get started, we have a few reminders. At any point during tonight's webinar, we do encourage your participation through the chat and Q&A features. Please type any questions you have into the Q&A section and we'll answer them live at the end of the presentation. Henry Schein is not offering CE credit for viewing or attending this presentation live or on demand. And this webinar is sponsored by Henry Schein Custom Branding. Dr. Bobbi, thanks for joining us tonight. Take it away.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here tonight. Thanks for joining us, guys. Super excited to talk about this. One of my passions is the business of dentistry. I love dentistry. I love being a dentist, but I love being a business owner. And when you think about dentistry and when people ask you, what do you do? I'm not a dentist. I'm a business owner. And what I offer in my business is dentistry. So I have to make sure that my business is profitable and that my business is successful so that I can offer great dentistry to my patients. So it all starts with being a great business owner. And the best way to get your business more successful and your practice more successful and more patients in your business is with branding. And so, when we think about branding, we think about a vision of what we want our business to be. And your brand needs to represent you and your vision for your practice. And so there are some brands that are out there. For instance, this brand. When we see this brand, we think about certain things. And to me, what I think about is a well-engineered car, a well-engineered machine. That's what BMW brand represents to me when I see it. Then when I see this brand, I think about somewhat of the same thing, but I think more luxury, more just smoothness, more just oozing myself into just pure, smooth luxury. Then there are other brands that we think about other things like Apple, Nike, Chick-fil-A. And you guys know, if you've ever been to a Chick-fil-A drive-through, you know that you are not going to leave that drive-through with anything missing from your bag ever. And you know you're going to get the response of, my pleasure. That's the brand of Chick-fil-A. They've worked really hard to make sure their brand represents who they are. And that's what branding means. And it works also in dentistry. But it starts with, who are you? Who are you? Who do you want to be in your practice? I know you want to be a great dentist. I know you want to offer great services, but there are great dentists all over the United States. What's different about you, and how do you reach out to your patients, to the people you want in your practice, to let them know how you're different and what you can offer for them? Your brand has to be your vision. And it takes some time to develop that. You have to sit down. It's a very personal thing. You have to sit down and think about, who do I want to be? How do I want to represent dentistry? How do I want to represent my practice? How do I want to represent my team members? And what do I have to offer to my patients? And that often starts with your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why did you start dentistry? Why did you go into dentistry? Why did you put all those years in the dental school? And why did you want to be a business owner? And that why can be different for many of us, and there's no right answer. Again, it's very personal. So we have to start by looking at how we can develop our brand. And your brand goes with maybe 5 things. First of all, you have to decide, who is your ideal patient? Who do I want to serve every day? There are lots of people in this world, and not every patient has to be yours. There's a dentist for every different kind of patient. And that's what makes dentistry so wonderful, that if a patient's not happy with you, there are many more dentists who can service them great. And vice versa. If you're not happy with a patient, you're more than welcome to encourage them to see another dentist. You have to decide which patient you want to take care of in your practice and how you can service them best. Your brand needs to be a brand identity. There needs to be something that just reflects on you and who you are as a person and who you are as a dentist. And then once you have that developed, the next thing is consistency. Consistency is key. You have to make sure that your brand walks across every avenue and represents you and your office the way it's meant to. And then you have to stay true to your message. And what that means is that you've decided that my ideal patient is this, and this is how I want to run my business, and that you have to stay true to that. You can't be, for instance, your brand can't say that I'm cutting edge, that I'm top of the line, and then when a patient comes in, you have 1960s equipment. You can't do that. Your brand is not being reflected in your office. You have to be careful of that. And then you have to promote what you do, not what you sell. And selling is a very not good word in dentistry, because we don't sell dentistry. We promote what we do, which is health. And so you have to be careful to promote you and not what you're selling in any business. And we'll talk more about that in this presentation. So let's start with your ideal patient. What is your ideal patient? And you have to sit back and you have to think about it, because do I want to be a family dentist, or do I want to be an implant dentist? Do I want to be a cosmetic dentist, or do I want to be an orthodontic braces Invisalign dentist? So, those are all very different things, and it doesn't mean that you can't offer them in your office. I mean, you certainly can be a comprehensive office. But it's hard for me to be a pediatric office and say that I'm cutting edge with cosmetics. It doesn't mean that I can't see pediatric children, but I can't advertise family, elderly, young professional, pediatrics, and expect somebody to say, oh, that person, that's their brand. So you really have to get your brand to go down the right avenue. Now, don't get me wrong. You can do it all. At Stanley Dentistry, we're very much a comprehensive office, but we're certain to make sure that our brand reflects who we are. And so we don't reflect necessarily the procedures we do. We reflect our excellence and things of that nature. So we start to think about, who do we want to have as a patient? And one of the ways to do that is, there's a great book. If you guys have not read it, I would encourage you to read it. It's called Influence. It's by Robert Cialdini, and he actually took some time and went around the world and discovered what persuades people to say yes, what encourages people to say yes. And one of his principles of persuasion is liking. And today, in today's society, we all see it. Everybody wants likes. How many likes did I get on my Instagram? How many likes did I get on Facebook? Everybody wants to be liked. And that's why you see people all the time taking selfies. They want to be liked. But not only do they like to be liked, they like to associate themselves with people that they like. And that makes sense when you start thinking about your ideal patient. Maybe your ideal patient is very much like you. Maybe you can encourage people like yourself to come into your office and get the type of dentistry that you like to give. So liking is a big persuasion factor for getting the ideal patient. The other thing is, patients like to be with people who like them. So if someone comes in and maybe they're a tennis player and you're a tennis player and you guys start talking about tennis, all of a sudden you have a bond, that patient's probably going to be with you for life. And so finding those common likes in your patients really help to secure patients in your practice. So you have to decide what type of practice, what type of patient that you want in your office, and what type of dentist do you want to be, and what type of dentistry do you want to offer. Back in the day, there was something called dental boot camp. And if you're an older dentist, you may remember dental boot camp and Walter Haley. And Walter Haley used to say, we fly with eagles. We push the turkeys to the side and we fly with eagles. And if you've been in dentistry long enough, you know what I'm saying, because we have those patients that we absolutely love. And then we have those patients that we see on our schedule and we're like, oh my God, she's coming in again. And so what you have to decide is that those, oh my God, she's coming in again, those are the turkeys. Those are the ones that I do not want my brand to reflect. I do not want to encourage the turkeys to come into my office. I only want to fly with eagles. So my brand is going to go out and search for eagles and capture the eagles and bring them into my practice. So how do you establish your brand? Well, your brand is the outward expression of a brand includes trademarks, the name, communications, and visual appearance. A brand identity is the sum total of your brand likes, feels, and speaks to people. So your brand, when it's out there, people should say, oh, yes, that reflects this. The same way when I see BMW, I think, oh, great engineering, great car, rides fast. Those are the things that I think about. And so here's some brands. Let's look at these brands. These are common brands that have been around forever. I mean, when we see even the Tiffany color, we know it's Tiffany's, right? I mean, we all know Tiffany blue. And if you're a female, you certainly know that because we're always hoping for one of those boxes to appear before us. So what makes these brands so special? And what type of clients do these brands draw their way? Well, let's look at some clients. Here are 4 individuals. And we have to think about these brands and what would draw one or more of these individuals to these brands. Well, let's look at the Tiffany box. If I have a Tiffany box and I look at these 4 individuals, I automatically think Tiffany's, it's certainly their brand reflects females. I mean, females are drawn to their brand. They have the beautiful blue, they have the bow, they're a jewelry store. They just exude happiness to females. They've done a great job establishing their brand. And then there's Levi's. Well, where does Levi's fall? I mean, maybe all these clients would wear Levi's jeans, but when I look at this, I'm thinking, I've never seen James Bond in a pair of Levi's, but I certainly could see this guy in a pair of Levi's. So when I start thinking about Levi's and how they promoted their brand and their advertisement and in their message, I know what they've done to draw this guy in. Microsoft, the same way. I mean, Microsoft goes out to the intellectual computer people, the office people, you know, that's who they draw into them. Now, certainly this female may like Microsoft also, but when I see Microsoft, I don't think about this female. I think about this young gentleman in his business suit who's sitting at work with his colleagues in front of a computer. And certainly Rolex, James Bond, right? Which, by the way, Rolex is not the watch that's represented in the James Bond movies. I don't know if you guys know that. It's Omega. James Bond movie went to Rolex early and asked them to represent them, and Rolex said no. And so then they moved on to Omega, and Omega has said yes. And so Omega is also a representation of, you know, exclusivity, as is Rolex. So just a little tidbit there. When you're developing your brand, you want to look at color. Color is so important. You have to think about color. And this goes back to Tiffany's. I mean, think about Tiffany's and how they went through and developed their Tiffany blue. They actually have that protected. You can't use that Tiffany blue in your advertisement. It's their color. And so at Stanley Dentistry, when we first started out, we thought, you know what? Let's use red. Red is a great color. And then as we started promoting our business cards, we're in red, our brochures, we're in red, we have red up in our office. We started thinking about it and we're like, well, red is blood. And people, when they come to the dentist, they don't want to think about blood. We want a more calming color. So then we started going through different colors and we came up with this beautiful blue. So lots of what we do now, it has our color palette in it, and we just kind of carry it through on our Instagram, on our Facebook, throughout our practice, on our website. So when you develop a color, you need to carry that through with consistency. Same thing with an image. You need to have an image to be yours. Our image are our smile bars and our Find Your Smile logo. Now that's trademark. No one else can use that. It's trademarked in dentistry. So once you find something that you love and you protect it, it's yours. It's your brand. And when people see it, they think about you. So, and that's the way your brand should be. It should always be you. And of course, this can be overwhelming. You're like, gosh, where do I even start to get a tagline? Where do I even start to get a color palette or a logo? I know in my mind what I want it to say, but I'm not the professional and I don't want to spend a lot of money on this. Well, there's good news. There are businesses out there that will do this for you. For instance, Fiverr, 99 Designs, Upwork. They're all online businesses that have lots of artists who are happy to develop a logo for you and then send you samples and you decide which one works for you. So if you look, this is a sample of my husband's logo. So my husband is a dentist, but he was first an engineer. He has a PhD in engineering and he's very proud of that. So he calls himself the Smile Engineer, and he trademarked that name so no one else can call themselves the Smile Engineer because it's trademarked to him. And so again, that goes back to when you find your brand, you trademark your brand, you have that brand represent you. And so when I say Smile Engineer, to me, I'm thinking someone's going to engineer my smile. Engineering means something that's built really well and it's going to last a lifetime. And that works really well for him because what does he do? He places dental implants. That's primarily what he does. He reconstructs the mouth with dental implants. So what better tag name than Smile Engineer? But when he was thinking about, I want this Smile Engineer name, but I don't know how to represent myself, he went out to Fiverr and just said, can you guys give me a logo for Smile Engineer? And if you look closely, you'll see there's some logos with a screw, there's some logos with teeth and, different logos. And then what he literally got to do was go through all these logos and he was like, I like that one. And so he went back to that artist and said, I like that one. And the artist said, okay, that's $250. And he paid the $250. Now, I don't know how much it cost. It could have been $1,000. I don't know. But to save you time and effort and have something that represents you, it's well worth paying for it. And these are not very expensive. You don't have to pay for all the designs. You just have to pay for the one that you buy. So it's a great way to get a logo, to get your certain fonts, to get your color palette. These artists are out there and they're really excited to help people like you. So allow them that opportunity. Now, I said, once you have your brand, once you have your logo, once you have your color and your fonts, and you have something that represents you, now what do? Well, you take those things and you start distributing them in areas that represent you. So consistency is key. Now that we have our blue color palette, we don't ever want to go back to red. We want to stay blue. And I know when people see that blue that they think, oh, if they've seen us before, oh, I've seen them before. Oh yeah, that's that Stanley Dentistry crew. So after a while, they start to recognize. And think about it. If we see big gold arches up in the sky that represent an M, every one of us know that that's McDonald's. McDonald's has done a great job branding themselves because they have their golden arches. You can see them from a mile away and they're consistent. Everything they have their golden arches in them. So that's what a brand means. That's how you can be consistent. So you have to start taking that across your marketing. Let's talk about marketing, because a lot of people really start to feel uncomfortable about marketing when it comes to dentistry. And I need to tell you why you need to market, because marketing is educating. It is not selling. Early in COVID, when we got shut down, I did a few webinars and I couldn't say enough to people, you need to make sure you're marketing right now. You need to make sure your marketing team is working for you right now. Our marketing person worked the whole time through COVID. We, just like everybody else, had to lay off our team. There were a few key people who did not get laid off. She did not. She had a job to do. It was her time to educate people, because guess what people were doing? They were sitting at home surfing on the web. They wanted to learn about dentistry, and it was her opportunity to let them learn. Now, yes, Stanley Dentistry was reflected on those educational promotions, but what that told people was, we're here to educate you. I'm here to teach you what an implant is. I'm here to teach you what a dental veneer is. And at the time when you're ready for a smile makeover, I'm here. And if you choose to come to me, great. But I'm not selling you anything. I'm not selling you anything you're not looking for. I'm not selling you anything you don't want. It's your choice to buy. I'm just educating you. And guys, that's what marketing is. And if you're not marketing, if you're not educating people out there, shame on you. You're a doctor. You need to let them know how dentistry can change their life. For instance, I don't know how many of you know, there was a study that just came out this week that said if you have periodontal disease, you're 9 times more likely to end up in the hospital with COVID issues. And if you have periodontal disease, you're 4 times more likely to end up in the hospital on a respirator if you get COVID. Guys, that's serious stuff. Patients need to know that, because I have patients, and I know you have patients who've chosen not to come to the dentist because they're afraid of transmission in the dental office. But when they find out that by sitting at home and allowing their dental disease to get out of control, that they're more likely to end up in the hospital if they get COVID, you know what I did? I sent that study straight to my marketing girl and said, you need to publish this and get it out to our patients. You need to get this out on the internet. You need to get this out on Instagram. You need to let the public know that they have to keep on top of their periodontal disease to keep themselves healthy. That's called educating. That's called letting your patients know how to stay healthy. That's called being a doctor, and you need to do that. And there are many ways that you can do that. You can obviously external marketing. Everybody loves external marketing because it's fun. Let me do a website. Let me do a YouTube. Let me put out a commercial. But there's a lot that we can do internal to the people that we see every day. And when you do internal marketing, you're marketing to people who already love you. They're already in your office. So it's a lot easier to let them know what you do and why it may be great for them. So let's talk about a few things with marketing / educating. Well, let's start with our website. If you have a website, again, your website should be consistent. If you look, this is literally our website, and you see it's blue. I told you blues are color palette. We stay within our color palette, and these blues, we don't just choose a blue. We don't just go with Duke blue. We don't just go with Carolina blue. We have specific blues that are our blues, and they work every time, and it's those blues that are in there. So you won't ever see a Duke blue in my ad because it's not in our color palette. Now, it's not because I don't like Duke, and I didn't go to Duke, so there's no reason I would be in love with them, but it's just not in my color palette. So this is our website. And when you have a website, you obviously want to let people know what you do, because you want to help educate them. So you want a list of all your services. And you want to make sure that those services catch the eye and that they're really focused on that. And here you can see we list dental implants, because one of the things that we do a lot of in our office is dental implants. And it's also the one thing that we teach really well in Stanley Institute. So we want to make sure that dental implants are out there so patients know that they can find us and that we offer it. Now, let me make sure that you see this. This phone number is not the phone number to my office. This is not the phone number that I signed up with AT&T with years ago. This is a fake phone number that's called a marketing number, a tracking number. This phone number allows me to see every time somebody calls from my website. Now, when they ring this number, it rings in my office on my main line. But what it also does is it counts up how many times it rings in a month. So I know how many times somebody's going to my website. You know how that helps me? Because if I know somebody's going to my website, I know my website's working. If people are not calling from my website, then it's not working, and I need to do something to change that. And that's called marketing. Now, we also need to make sure that when people search for us on the web, that we show up. Not that just we show up, but we show up on the first page. I like to make a little joke that the best place, if you ever decide that you're going to take somebody out, the best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of Google, because nobody ever goes to page 2, ever. So you need to make sure that you show up on page 1. So if somebody's doing a search for, say, dental implants, they find Stanley Dentistry there. And I want you to note one thing. This phone number here is not the same phone number that was on my website. This is another tracking number, because I know if somebody's doing a website and they don't go to my or web search and they don't go to my website, I know how they found me. I know that they just did a website search for dental implants and they found me. So a lot of the work and the guess in my marketing is taken out by having tracking numbers. And you can do this. There are multiple ways. There's Patient Prism. There's Call Tracker. There are a lot of different ways to have tracking numbers, and it's so important in your marketing. Google reviews. I will tell you, I always ask a new patient how they found us, and they always say Google. And almost always they say, and wow, you have so many great reviews. We have a lot of reviews. That's not by mistake. That's not because patients come in and they say, wow, I'm going to go home and write a review for these people. It's because we ask. We ask our patients to write a review for us, but we only ask when they give us a compliment. And doctors, team members, you know, people give you compliments all the time. And if they don't, ask, how was your visit today? Oh, it was great. Susan was so good. I love coming to see Susan. We hear that every day. That's your moment to say, oh, I'm so happy to hear you say that. Would you mind writing us a review and saying that? We're really trying to get our Google reviews up online, or we really appreciate sharing that with other people, or we want other people to know about the great experience that you had. Would you mind sharing? I will tell you, it's rare, very rare when someone says, I don't do that. Almost always people will say, I'm more than happy to do that. Then that's not the end of it. Great. How about you pull out your cell phone and do it right now while we're waiting for doctor to come in? Doctor will be in just a minute and do your hygiene check. Go ahead and pull out your phone and do that Google review right now. People are more than willing to do it. I go in to do a hygiene review and a patient's on the phone. I always back out quietly, and then my hygienist will let me know when to come in, because I know they're doing a Google review and they're happy to do it. And it's not cheating. It's not twisting their arm. They have the choice to do it or not do it. I'm not rewarding them for doing it. I'm simply asking. Same way I would ask them for a referral. If they've come into my office and they've given me a Google review and I know they're a raving fan, and they give me a compliment, or I ask them, how did things go today? And they say it was great. I'm going to say, wonderful. You know, Mrs. Jones, I love it when you come in here. It's always so much fun. It's always so easy. It's always so great, whatever you want to say. I would love it if you would send me more people like you. If you have friends that are like you, send them in, because you're the kind of people we like having in our office, and we are taking new patients. Easy way to ask for referrals, especially the Eagles, guys. Get your Eagle patients and ask them for referrals. Get them to send people in, because we want to do business with people that we like, that people who are like us. So it's real simple to ask for referrals. It's not awkward at all. YouTube. Do you know that YouTube is now the #1 search engine on the web? People aren't Googling, they're going to YouTube to learn. You need to have a YouTube channel to educate your patients, and it's real easy. This is a video that one of our girls did. This is Zara. Zara is my Invisalign assistant. Zara does all the Invisaligns in the office. Zara knows almost more about Invisalign than I do. I kid you not. She is on the Invisalign website all the time. She comes to me and says, oh my gosh, did you know Invisalign has a virtual thing now? Or did you know Invisalign, you could take photos and do X? I mean, she's so educated with Invisalign because she's passionate about it. So I said, Zara, would you mind one day just sitting down and we'll hold the iPhone and you can just talk about Invisalign? And she said, oh, I'll be more than happy to do that. So she put on a little bit of makeup and she did her hair and she sat there and she said, let me tell you about Invisalign. And it was just that easy. And if you empower your team to do that, especially what they're passionate about, they'll be more than happy to do it. My assistant took it upon herself to do a YouTube video on flossing, because she said, I have so many patients come in and they say, how do I wrap the floss around my fingers? And so she literally sat down and showed, wrap it here, floss, unwrap, rewrap, floss again. And she went through a whole tutorial on flossing. That easy. And people don't mind. It's an iPhone. You take it, you download it to YouTube, it's there. It doesn't have to be fancy. Now, we've put a header to ours that says Stanley Dentistry. You'll see a little bit later on. But again, it doesn't have to be fancy. Let your team brag about you. Let your team educate your patients. Empower them. Tell them tomorrow when you go in for morning meeting, you say, hey, anybody here passionate about what they do? You like doing Invisalign? Let's talk about it on an iPhone. That easy, or a video camera, whatever you want to do. And of course, there's television. There are ways that you can advertise on television. It's not the least expensive way, but it is powerful. People see it. This is a commercial that we did on implants, brought in a lot of people.
For most practices offering dental implants, this is what you get. After the post is put in, patients have to go from dentist to dentist in search of actual cosmetic work. At Stanley Dentistry, we do it all, using state-of-the-art technology to completely restore your smile from start to finish in as little as one day. I'm Dr. Robert Stanley. If you think your smile is beyond repair, come in for a free consultation and let us show you some of the amazing results that happen right here at Stanley Dentistry in Cary.
This isn't hard to do. This is rather simple. We hired a company to put this together. It cost us, I think it cost us about $7,500, so $7,500. They came in, they did the whole filming. If you look, it was me, my husband. We have a patient who's a Raven fan, and then the older gentleman at the end is my husband's father. You know, it was just, everybody was free. You know, the production crew was free. We just paid for the people to come in and do the commercial. They did it at a studio about 20 miles away from our house, and it was really simple. Now we have this commercial for the rest of our life. If we ever want to run it, we will. We'll run it again. There's also print ads in magazines, and you know, in your town, you have magazines, you can do print ads. You want to do something that's consistent. If you look at this, you'll see there's the blue again. The blue goes across the board. And this, I love this little ad because this was a brilliant idea of my husband's, and I have to give it to him because in our office, our brand reflects excellence in dentistry. So we do everything. And I said early on, you have to decide who your patient is. And we decided we were going to be comprehensive. And so one thing we did is we said, hey, it's like having 6 doctors in one because we do everything here. We do cosmetic dentistry, sedation dentistry, implant dentistry, and it's just me. And they just superimpose me all around this patient. And the patient just happened to be one of our team members. So simple ad with a powerful message. So powerful that one of our patients called, a new patient, little old lady, and she said, oh, I didn't know Dr. Bobbi was a sextuplet or whatever it is of 6 children. And we thought that was the cutest thing because we were like, no, that was an ad. That was just photography. That was Dr. Bobbi and everyone. And she said, oh, I thought that was all her sisters. So, I mean, how cute is that? But that's powerful because she saw it. She understood it. This, I can't talk about enough. The social media is so huge these days, and there's a platform for everything. And you have to be involved in all of them. You have to know how to work them all. Now, listen, doctor, I get it. We're busy. We're doctors. That's why we have a marketing team. And guess who works best on these platforms? Young people. Young people work so great. And guess what else? They're cheap. You can get a high school student or a college student, and you don't have to pay them a lot. And they're more than happy to come in and get your Instagram up and going and get you a lot of followers. And I mean, they know how to work the system. They know how to do it. But it needs to be your brand. It needs to reflect you. So if you look, the Instagram page right below the Instagram logo, that's my personal page. That's Dr. Bobbi Stanley. That's my personal page. And you'll see there are teeth there. I have a whole row of before and after makeovers, Invisalign, surgery pictures that I post just to let people know what I do. But then I post other pictures about me and being a powerful female or being a great doctor or following my passion or following my dreams. I post pictures of me flying my plane because I want to let people know that I'm a person outside of dentistry. You know, I like to fly. I like to run triathlons. I like to work out. So they know that I have, you know, other likes outside of dentistry. And when they see things like their dentist is an Ironman triathlete, they're like, oh, I do triathlons. Oh, I would love my dentist to be a triathlete also. So it serves the purpose of that liking, because people like to do business with people like them. So having a personal page that tells people that you're a dentist, but you're also a mom and you're also a whatever else you are, is really great for people to know. Now, the one beside the Instagram logo, that's the Stanley Dentistry Instagram. Lots of teeth, lots of patients, and then an occasional message. That's what we want. We want people to know that we give excellent dentistry. It's really simple. Come in, let us serve you. And then down below is the Smile Engineer Instagram. and you see there's a lot about dental implants. There's even one that's been hidden. You have to literally click on it to see it because it's so bloody and ooey and gooey. And then there's Dr. Rob teaching in the Institute. So a lot about him, but a lot more about dental implants because he's the smile engineer. So his brand is reflected in his Instagram, and that's what you want. And again, young people can do this for you. Your Facebook page needs to reflect who you are. And here we are with all of our doctors gathered around, just talking and, corresponding with each other. So your message on social media needs to be consistent. You need to pass it along. And then you need to be true to your message. And here's why. We're all passionate about something. And I sure hope dentistry is one of those things. And there may be areas in dentistry that you're just really passionate enough about. It may just be serving people. It may not be the dentistry itself. It may not be the drilling, filling, crowns, braces, perio, but it may be just helping people, changing lives, helping people feel good about themselves, getting healthy, helping people smile. If you're passionate about that, that's your message. That's what you need to be passing on to people and let them know. And you need to be sure that you underpromise and overdeliver. And that's always been our philosophy. It's our philosophy at Stanley Dentistry. It's our philosophy at Stanley Institute. I want you to come in not expecting nearly as much as you get. So when you walk out, you can say, wow, because I want to wow you. And we know that 54% of people don't trust brands because they don't expect the brand to live up to who they are. So you have to start thinking about, what is your message? What do you have to offer your patients? I want to show you this cute little video.
My name is Bob Farrell, and I've been very fortunate to work a lifetime at something I love doing, serving customers. For me, it was ice cream parlors. For you, maybe it's retail, healthcare, finance, etc. Whatever we do, remember, our business is not what we sell, it's who we serve. You and I are in the people business. We take care of people for a living. Hopefully, they leave happier than when they came in. At least that's what we try for. One of the best things that ever happened to me was to get a letter from a disappointed customer. Dear Mr. Farrell, I've been coming to your restaurant ever since you opened. I really love the place. I love your ice cream. I love the fun. I love your hamburgers. They're the best. I love your pickles. They are the best pickle in Seattle. I always ask for an extra pickle. They always give me one. Today, Mr. Farrell, I came in, had my usual, asked for an extra pickle from the young waitress. Well, I don't know where she got the idea, but she said, well, I'll have to sell you a side of pickles for 75 cents. If that's the way you're going to run your restaurant, Mr. Farrell, I'm not coming back. Well, I got that letter, and from an entrepreneur who was just starting on his second store, that hurt. I wrote him a letter. I said, please, we still give pickles away. Don't you worry about it. Please come back. Gave him a coupon. But what happened is, I thank him to this day, the war cry of our company became, give them the pickle. Take care of the customer. No matter what happens in our business and we hear something going on, somebody says, well, should we do it? Give them the pickle. I talk to companies all over the world. No matter where I go, I always find that successful companies and successful employees have mastered the same four things when it comes to taking care of customers. The first thing they do is give away pickles. They make people happy. In other words, they've made serving others their #1 priority. I spoke to a bunch of garbage men. They brought me in to speak on customer service. I gave a talk, and they gave me a big hand. They loved it, And after my talk, the guy comes up. He said, Mr. Farrell, I love your story about the pickle. I said, well, thank you. He said, we give pickles away all summer. I'm thinking garbage truck, pickles. This guy's got it screwed up. I said, what do you mean you give pickles away? He says, we start lawnmowers. I said, what? We start lawnmowers. What do you mean? He said, well, my son and I, we drive around, he helps me in the summertime, and we see somebody up on their lawn cranking away. We stop the truck, go up there, and we start the lawnmower for them. We can start any lawnmower ever made. I says, you got it. That's the pickle. What's your pickle? What is that extra or special thing you do to make people happy? That's your pickle. Maybe it's walking the customer to the item they're looking for instead of just pointing. Maybe it's a handwritten thank you on every order shipped out to the customer. Maybe instead of just delivering their food, patients get a menu so they can order what they want when they want it. The trick is to find out what the customer wants. Make sure they get it. That's the pickle.
What's our pickle? Because we're in the people business. We're here to make people happy. What's our pickle? What do we have to give people? You know, my daughter, our daughter works in our office, and one day there was a young girl in, she was a college student, and she was a first-time patient, and she didn't have x-rays, so we were gonna take x-rays. And while she was in the chair, her mother called, and my daughter happened to answer the phone, and the mother was really upset because the daughter had been somewhere 6 months prior, had gotten x-rays, and now we're getting ready to charge her for x-rays again. And my daughter said, oh my gosh, where did she go? And she said, okay, let me take care of this. So she immediately told the hygienist, don't take x-rays. I think I can get them. She called the other office. She got the x-rays sent while the patient was in the chair, and then called the mother back and said, I was able to call the other office and get the x-rays, so we won't be taking x-rays on your daughter today. Therefore, there won't be a charge. And the mother was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. And so the funny thing is, I heard this story that night because my daughter came over to our house that night. She said, Mom, I gave away a pickle today. And I said, what do you mean? And she told me the story. And I said, you're right. That's your pickle. I mean, we're all in the people business. We have a pickle to give away. Give away a pickle. So what are our pickles? Well, one of them is our customer service. It's our smiling people up front. This is Sherry. Sherry sits up front. She has an infectious smile. Sherry's been here forever. If Sherry's not there, people want to know where Sherry is because there's a missing spot without her there because she smiles all the time. That's our pickle. You know, our pickle is our team. Our team should reflect our brand, right? So it's so important that we pick the right people to come in our office to reflect our brand. And then we need to make sure that we promote what we're doing, not what we're selling. And we don't sell dentistry. You know that. We take care of people. Why? Because patients don't buy what we sell. Instead, they buy the services that we do for them. For example, if you're selling clothes, people don't want to buy clothes. They don't want to be sold clothes. Don't sell me clothes. Sell me a sharp appearance, style, and attractiveness. Don't sell me insurance. Sell me peace of mind with a great future for me and my family. Don't sell me a house. Sell me comfort, contentment, a good investment, and pride in my ownership. Don't sell me dental implants. Sell me self-confidence. People are willing to exchange hard-earned money for two things, guys: good feelings and solutions to their problems. And we have that for our patients. This is one of our patients who came in. She had no upper teeth for 20 years. For 20 years, she walked around with no upper teeth because she couldn't wear a denture. It gagged her, and she didn't have any other options. She came in, we gave her dental implants. She lost about 100 pounds. And look at her smile. I literally pulled this off of her Facebook. She's a raving fan for us. She loves us. These pictures, she tells people, I love my smile. Stanley Dentistry did my smile. We gave her her life back. We changed her life. We didn't sell her dental implants. We gave her a life. And that's what we need to tell our patients. That's what we need to do. Here's an old thing that we have from our office, because you see it's in the red, but we want people to know that we do dental implants. They may not even know that they can get it here. They may not have even come for dental implants. They may not have missing teeth, but they know somebody who does have missing teeth. So you need to make sure you let people know what you do. You need to make sure you put photos of your patients up on your wall. Let them know this is our cosmetic dentistry wall. 2 walls of just cosmetic dentistry. We let people know cosmetic dentistry can mean a lot of different things. It could mean whitening. It can mean a crown, a few veneers, a whole smile makeover. It can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So it just depends on what's important to you for cosmetics. And, oh, I apologize. We also have our ortho wall. These are all children and adults who have had Invisalign and braces, because we want people to know that we offer all of that. And you have to make sure that that's part of your brand, that your brand is reflected through your office. You need to have it everywhere in your office. We have televisions in every operatories, and I see all the time people advertising, we have televisions, come, we'll put on a movie, we'll put on the news for you. Are you kidding? I have a captured audience. You know what I want them to watch? I want them to watch stuff about teeth. I want them to watch stuff about dentistry. I want them to learn about what we do and who we are. I want them to know that we're accepting new patients. We have the opportunity with those patients sitting right there in front of us to give them a message right in front of them. Why not promote that? Why would I put on the news that's going to tell them that COVID's terrible and they shouldn't go to the dentist? Give them good news. Give them fun stuff to watch. Give them dental facts so that they can sit there and talk about fun things. I had a mom come in who said to me, you know, last week my 5-year-old was brushing his teeth, and his little sister, who's 3.5, was brushing her teeth. And I was in the next room and I heard him say, do you know if you don't floss, you miss 35% of the surfaces of your teeth? And she said, I walked in and I said, Jason, how did you know that? And he said, I read it when I was at Stanley Dentistry. That's one of the things that was up on our television. Now, I was impressed that a 5-year-old read that. Pretty smart kid, but even more impressed that he thought about it and shared it with his sister. So make sure that you share things with people when you have a captive audience. The other thing is, don't forget to let your patients brag. Don't forget to let your patients promote you. Video testimonials are wonderful and another way to add to your YouTube page. Get an iPhone. You can put it on a tripod to keep it stable and sit in front of your patient and say, why did you come to Stanley Dentistry? Why do you like Stanley Dentistry? Why have you been a patient at Stanley Dentistry for 20 years? And then let them talk. Let them tell you. And then just put it out there. I mean, here's one that we did for one of our patients who's a raving fan. And obviously, you know, we have this little intro thing. You don't have to have this, but when you hear her talk, you'll see that she loves us. She's a raving fan.
Well, many years ago, I had a partial, and I had decided that I wanted to do something a little more permanent and do something different with my smile. I'm a big smiler, and I wanted it to look, you know, to represent who I am. So I just did some research, and I found them online, actually. So I came in and did a consult, sat down and talked with them, and at that time I knew this was the place that I wanted to be. And so we put together a plan, and after going through the procedures that I needed to do prior to finalizing my smile, I got ready for that, and then we did the smile makeover, and I love it. And it's been almost 10 years. Next year will be 10 years that I'm wearing this smile, and I love it.
Listen, you can't buy marketing like that. I can tell people all day long that I'm a great dentist and that I do beautiful smile makeovers, but when you have a patient with a beautiful smile who loves you, they can say it and patients are listening. And I didn't play that whole testimonial for you. She said, these people are like family for me. When she got diagnosed with cancer, we were one of the first people to find out, and we hugged and we cried together. She's been a patient here forever. I love her. She loves us. And we've shared the ups and downs over our lives together. Those are the patients that I want in my practice. That's what our brand represents. It represents excellence and caring. And that's what we want to reflect. So when we have a patient who's a raving fan, we let them tell other people why we're so great. We don't have to do that. Our brand reflects who we are, but we're allowing other people to do that. So let your brand speak for you. And then allow your team members to speak for you. Nothing's more powerful than my team members standing there in a mass saying, it's safe to come back to our office. Please come. We're here. We love you. I mean, we put this all over Instagram, Facebook. We want our patients to say, oh my gosh, there's that team I love. I miss Brenda. And they're saying it's safe to come back. So let your team know it's time. Oh, and once again, note, they're wearing blue. There's our color again. So, you know, that color palette is carried through all the way. And that's what a brand is. A brand reflects who you are. It helps to bring in the audience that you want to bring in, the patients that you want to bring in. You got to be consistent across the board. Carry your color palette through. Carry your brand all the way consistent. Stay true to your message, and then promote what you do. Let people know that you're there to care for them, you're there to take care of them, and to help them to be healthy. Thank you guys for your time. I'm going to turn it back over to Adam. Adam, if you want to come back on.
Great, thank you. We've got a couple minutes left. If anyone has any questions for Dr. Bobbi, feel free to type them in the chat or Q&A, and we'll get to them as we have time. The first question is it actually legal to ask a patient to post a review while they're in the practice?
It is. It's not legal to pay a patient or give a gift to a patient to manipulate them into it. It is 100% legal to ask. Yes.
Do you recommend we hire someone full-time to deal with our social media?
So that really depends on you and how much you want that to happen. We have a full-time marketing person in our office. She does all of our ads. She does all of our social. She does helps with our videos or promotions, but we're a big practice. So it depends on how much you need. I believe social, if you're just looking at social could be a part-time position, 20 hours more than enough. And again, the younger you can get somebody to do that, the better. They just have to understand your message, because young people, I know that, you know, we're in this society and people are like, oh, young people, they don't work. Oh yeah, they do. And they love social and they will promote the dickens out of you. So here's what you do. You hire somebody for $10 an hour. You have them come in and you say, bring your iPhone. And I want you to take pictures of me doing things in the office. You can take it from behind the patient so the patient's face is not exposed if you want. And take pictures of people at the front desk, your team members at the front desk smiling and working, or maybe somebody in the lab doing something. Those are the pictures you put out on social. Let them come in and take the pictures, let them develop the message, and let them do the posting. It's that easy.
You mentioned you use social media and that it's important to put your practice or even yourself out there. What is the best content to publish, and how often should we post or engage with our followers?
So you definitely want to make sure that you have content, meaning you want to make sure you're saying things. You don't just want to post a smile makeover and say, did a smile makeover today. You really want to be able to say a lot about like what the smile makeover was, whether it was whitening, why whitening's safe, things, different types of whitening you could do, what a dental veneer is. And guys, it's okay to post pictures of smiles, of mouths, without the permission of the patient. That's totally legal. As long as you don't identify the patient or have any type of their identity in there, it's legal. What we do in our practice is part of the new patient paperwork. We have a photo release, and I'm happy to share that photo release. If you want to email me, obviously my email's up. I'm happy to share it with you. We have the patient sign it as part of their new patient paperwork. They don't think anything about it. Occasionally, maybe, I don't know, 100 times in 20 years, maybe not that often, somebody said, oh no, I don't want you to do that. And we won't do it. One time I had somebody say, oh, I saw you have my pictures up on your Facebook and I don't want that. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry you signed that release. And she said, oh, I didn't realize. And I said, we'll take it down right away. Not a problem. Happy to take it down. So, you know, if people don't want their stuff shared, they'll let you know. But as long as they signed a release, it's legal. And as long as you don't show their identity, so if you're just showing a tooth or a smile, that's okay.
And then how often or how frequent do you suggest posting?
Oh, great idea. So that varies for the platform. The more often, the better, in my opinion. You can never, ever email somebody too much as far as promotions or content education. You can never post too often on social. So it really depends. Like I do my own personal social page, and sometimes I can go a whole week without putting a post out on Instagram. because I'm busy, but I make sure that there's a story every day. So if you understand Instagram, there are little stories about little funny things. So one of the things I did just a few minutes ago, Henry Schein, as a matter of fact, had these fantastic new masks. Guys, if you haven't seen them, go out to my Instagram. It's Dr. Bobbi Stanley and look at my story today. Really cool mask. It's tie-dyed, and they're promoting caring is wearing. And so I have this new mask, and I took a picture of me in the mask here in my office, and I put out, I love this cool mask or something like that, just a little story. And it just stays up for 24 hours. But when I post, I make sure it's something that's a little bit more relevant. For instance, I posted a picture of me just sitting back. We were out at a restaurant, and I was just sitting there, and my girlfriend was sitting across from me. She snapped a picture of me, and I thought it was cool because it was in this cool place. It had a lot of colors behind it, and I thought I looked pretty good. So, I had just been on vacation with some friends, and one of my girlfriends had said, please don't post any pictures of me on social because I don't think I look good in any of them. Like the whole week, all the pictures we took, she didn't think she looked good in not one of them. And I thought, gosh, why are women so self-confident? Why are their self-confidence so low? And so I just started thinking about it, and I was like, I'm gonna do a post on self-confidence and why it's so important. And I just wrote the top 10 things that came to my mind about self-confidence. And somebody called me and said, this is such an important message. Would you mind being on the podcast with me and talking about why women should have self-confidence? And I was like, I don't mind, I can talk, and it's an important message. So, if you got something on your mind, think about it. Sometimes I'm on the Peloton. I love the Peloton. I have a bike and a tread. And sometimes the instructors say something really powerful. I literally stop right then, and I open up my notes section on my phone, and I have an Instagram note going, and I write down that tagline that they say, like something like, when I leave this earth, I want to make sure I leave a mark on both sides of the sand or both sides of the line or something powerful like that. And I'm like, that's a thought process that I would like to put together to put out on social, because that's powerful. So, if you see something, if you hear something, write it down, and then just do a tag on it, or do a story on it, or do a post on it. And write quite a little bit about it. And again, the more you can do it, the better.
We are trying to rebrand our office and have a bigger social media presence. What advice do you have for starting out and rebranding?
So I think you have to start from the beginning. So you have to think about your why. Why are you you? So for me, I went into dentistry, number one, open my business because I wanted excellence. I wanted to be in control of the quality of my office, and I wanted to be able to change lives, but I knew to do that, I could only use the best materials, the best labs. And to do that, it's going to cost a little bit more. And I'm not going to lie, we're not the cheapest dental office in town. Now, we're probably not the most expensive, but we also don't contract with dental insurances. So people pay out of pocket to come in. We accept their insurance, but we don't contract. We don't have any discounted fees. But that was my plan from day one. That was my why. I wanted to offer the best. And I knew for the best, people would have to pay for it. But I'm okay with that. I mean, that's why I shop at Saks and Neiman's and Nordstrom's, because I appreciate the, excellence. And there's nothing wrong with shopping somewhere else. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with going to a different type of dental office, but I knew what I wanted. And my why was to be able to change lives with excellence. So sit back and figure out what your why is and who you want to be and who you want your patients to be. That's where you start. Then what I would encourage you to do is copy greatness. There are people out there who have done it, not dentists. I mean, there are dentists who have done it. You don't want to copy dentists, but there are people who are doing it right, like Apple. Apple, when you see Apple, everybody knows who they are. They don't have a big long message. They have a short message. Like Nike, just do it. Just do it. It's real simple. It's to the point. You get it. Copy excellence. Find somebody out there that's doing it the way you like it, and do it their way. Do it the way that you want to do it. That's where I would start. Then on social, you need to have a business social, and I'm a firm believer you need to have a personal social, but your personal needs to have some dentistry on it, because you are a dentist and it needs to reflect who you are. So let people see that you have a normal life. I mean, patients come in all the time and say, oh, Dr. Bobbi, I saw this weekend you were up in your plane and you guys went to the beach or something like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did. So, And I'll tell you, initially when I bought my airplane, I was a little hesitant to put out that I own an airplane because I thought, oh, patients are going to think I'm charging them a lot if I could buy an airplane. And then I thought, you know what? I don't care. I don't care because it's who I am and I own an airplane. And it's not because I charge a lot for dentistry, it's because that's where I choose to spend my money. Now, the reason I own an airplane is because I teach dentistry and I have to fly to different locations to teach dentists. And to do that, I'd rather fly myself than to get on a big airline and have to fly through Atlanta to get to where I'm going. So, you got to be comfortable with who you are and what you're putting out there. But I'm very comfortable putting things out there. Like, I'm not going to put that I'm out there sloppy drunk, even though I may be. Now, I will put that I'm out there on a beach having a drink. I don't mind doing that. So, figure out what your message is and make sure your message reflects who you are. That's what I would do.
Got a couple questions left. How do you increase your success rate of getting reviews done by patients if they don't do it chairside?
First of all, I'm going to tell you, if they love you, they'll do it chairside. Some people say to me, you know what, I don't mind doing it. Can I start it here and finish it at home? 100%. So we say, you know what, just mark the stars. We don't tell them to mark 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. We just say, mark the stars. And when you get home, you can write the message. And sometimes people give us 5 stars and never get around to writing the message. I'm going to tell you, people are busy. But if you ask, and all you got to do is ask, you will get. Now, it would be great because in some states you can reward, and I don't know the state that you're in, so you need to know your state laws. But, maybe you give a gift card if they do it. In North Carolina, you can't do that. So, what we do is we tell our patients that we would love for them to give us a review. And if they say yes, they will. Guys, 98, 99% of the people say yes. And then you just got to give them time to write it right then and there. If somebody has a Gmail account, and everybody has a Gmail account, what you do is you tell them, you know what, go to Google Maps, make sure they're logged in their Google account online, their Gmail account. Everybody's logged into it on their phone. I'm telling you, if they have a Gmail, they're logged into it on their phone. Go to Google Maps, pull up Stanley Dentistry. Right there under Stanley Dentistry is write a review. That's where I have them write it, right there. So I show them how. We have a little form in the office that walks them through 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so if they're ready to write it, they can do that. What we did just last month was we put a little QCR code so people can literally hold up their camera to it, and it takes them right to the position where they can write the review. So it's even easier. And if they want to go home and do it, we send them home with a QCR code, and we're like, just hold your phone up to this with the camera on, and it'll take you right to the web page where you can write your review. You got to make it easy for them because people are busy. You got to think about it. You're busy. How many reviews do you write? People will tend to write bad reviews, but they don't write good reviews. And I'll tell you, we get bad reviews because there's crazy people everywhere, and crazy will put themselves out there in a bad review. So if you get a bad review, what you do is you say to your team, remember crazy that was here last week? Well, they left us a bad review. And almost always it's about money. Oh, they charge a lot, or oh, they don't take my insurance. You're right. I do charge a lot because dentistry is not inexpensive if you want the type of dentistry that, is excellent. And you're right. I don't take your insurance. There's nothing I can say about that. What do I want to do about a bad review? I want to bury it. I want to bury it with good reviews. So out of the almost 1,000 reviews that we have currently, probably 50 of them are bad. But when you have 1,000 reviews and you have 100 bad ones and the rest of them are 5 stars, people are like, yeah, okay. Those are crazy people. All right. They get it. They get it. People say to me all the time, I read your reviews. You have some bad ones, but they're almost all about money. And, I get it. You get what you pay for. And if you want something nice, sometimes it's a little bit more expensive. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And people get it. They understand. So ask. I guarantee you people will do it in the office if you give them time. But you want your raving fans. The people who love you, ask them. We go into morning meeting and we say, everybody has to choose a patient today that they're going to ask a review for. So we know before the day starts who we're going to ask a review for. So like Brenda, who's my ortho assistant, she'll say, oh my gosh, Jack loves us and he hasn't done a review yet. I'm going to ask Jack today. So she already knows when Jack comes in, she's going to say, hey, Jack, how are things going? And he's going to say, oh, great. I love my braces, or oh, this Invisalign's so easy. And then she's going to say, would you mind putting that in a review? So we have it pre-planned who we're going to ask for a review, because it doesn't happen by accident, guys. You have to make sure people know that you want reviews and then give them time to put them out there for you.
What is the best way to help our dental clients with accounting? We want to market this to be the most helpful to them as an accounting team.
Yeah, okay. I think what they're asking me is how to market dental accounting from a dental accounting point of view to dentists. Is that what the question's saying?
Your guess is as good as mine, but
Okay.
I think so, yes.
Well, first of all, let me tell you, I'm really passionate about finances in dentistry. So I'm a huge advocate for dental accountants, 100%. But what I would say to you guys is the most important thing to dentists, as far as finances and accounting and things of that nature, is saving money. And one of the biggest things that I do in my my business of dentistry, my by far most popular seminar that I give in that 2-day seminar, the most popular 1 hour, the one reason most people come is on tax deductions, because I guarantee everybody that if you come to my 2-day business dentistry class, you will save money to pay for your class and make a ton more money, because we're not business people. We don't realize things like you can take a business trip, you can take a vacation and turn it into a business trip and have it to be a tax write-off. Or you may not realize how to write off a car, maybe not 100%, but certainly a percentage. Or you may not realize that, I mean, there are just a lot of little things like you can rent your house to your business tax-free. And so you could pull income out of your business tax-free by renting your house to your business. How do you do that? You have an event at your house for your team members. You have a corporate meeting at your house. I mean, there are lots of ways to do that. And the government allows you to do that for 14 days. So what do? I called the most expensive hotel in town and I said, how much is it to rent a room in your hotel to have a meeting? And they said $800 a day. So whenever I have a meeting at my house for my team, or I have a meeting at my house with my accountant there, or I have a corporate meeting at my house, which by law you have to have if you're a corporate business, then the business will pay me personally $800. It goes in my QuickBooks as rent, and I don't have to pay taxes on that money. So any way I can get money out of my business tax-free, I want to. So as an accountant, the way that you would market to your dentist is that you would help them understand that there are ways that they can save money that they don't have to pay Uncle Sam. Now listen, we want to pay Uncle Sam, we want to pay our taxes, but we don't want to pay one dime more than we have to. And there are ways to do that, but you have to know which ways are legal, ways that you're not going to go to jail. And that's not your patient paying you cash and putting it in your pocket. You will go to jail for that. You don't do that. That's tax fraud. But there are legal ways that you can save money and not have to pay taxes that will get you a whole lot more money than put money in your pocket illegal. So that's how I would market to other dentists.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Bobbi, for your time this evening. If
Sure.
anyone has additional questions about custom branding or branding for your dental practice, feel free to email Dr. Bobbi directly, or feel free to email us at webinars@henryschein.com. Additionally, if you're interested in attending future Henry Schein webinars, visit henryscheindental.com/webinars for our upcoming schedule. As a thank you for attending tonight, everyone will receive this recording via email sometime in the next week. Thanks again for joining us, and we hope to see you on future webinars.
Thank you guys. Thanks for joining.